NC State and Virginia for the third time this year. Lee Cassell will throw it up. Jamel Spearman, A.J. Desai with him, and on the way down, Johann Grunloh wins the tip for the Virginia Cavaliers. Dallin Hall runs the point for UVA, 27-4 on the year, 15-3 in the league, and they have crushed NC State in both meetings. In fact, NC State did not lead in any of the 80 minutes against Virginia in the regular season. Sam Lewis, a big scorer for UVA, misses his first shot. It's rebounded by Van Allen Lubin. We'll see if the Wolfpack can take that first lead against UVA with Copeland and Trey Holloman along with Paul McNeil, the ACG's leading three-point shooter. Darian Williams and Van Allen Lubin, a very talented starting five.
McNeil was big for NC State yesterday with 15 points. This really extends the floor and creates driving lanes for opportunities like that for Quadir Copeland with the travel.
Yeah, before the foul, Copeland whistled for the travel. He had 8 assists yesterday. He also had 5 turnovers in a 24-point game. NC State shot 61%, a season high. They're not going to do that again in all likelihood because Virginia is one of the nation's best defensive teams. Paul, Thomas, and Lewis all transfers. DeRitter and Grunloh, 2 big men over from Europe. Virginia will go legitimately 9 deep, and it's some of the best depth you'll see in the nation. A driving Malik Thomas is denied by Lubin, and it's last touch by Thomas.
We spoke yesterday about the physicality and the mental toughness of NC State. When you play against an opponent that you lost to by 15 in Raleigh, and then you lost to by 29 in Charlottesville, this test of will and determination and execution to the cumulative effect for NC State will determine whether they win this game or not.
Well, here's how you know you're not watching Tony Bennett, Virginia. Some early full court pressure. Used to be the pack line D, now it's more of a full court style. Either way, Virginia remains among the best defensive teams in the nation and among the toughest to get a good look at. Lots of long possessions, lots of shot clock violations typically forced.
One of the difficult things for NC State, they're used to picking on people on positional sides. And everybody for UVA 6'4" or taller, as you see Van Allen Lubin, who's been tremendous this season, one of the most efficient players we have in the game of basketball, turning and facing, using that quickness to beat the UVA defender off the dribble.
And that basket, as Virginia turns it over, gives NC State its first lead in the 3 games against UVA this year. Lost by 15 at home, 29 on the road, held to 61 points in each game. Now, Will Wade has admitted it. This wasn't close. And he said yesterday when he was asked about the Virginia game, he said, I'm trying to enjoy today's win. Why do you have to talk about that? He's been very self-deprecating. But he's changing some things up today, and he gets a foul.
Rim in a great field. 18 points yesterday versus Pitt. Got to continue to attack the bigs of UVA.
Virginia was the 6th most efficient offense in the ACC this year. A lot of players who can step out and shoot 3. Testa Ritter is one. In fact, all 9 rotation players can really make a 3. And DeRitter, their leading scorer, gets the Cavs on the board.
Talk about not your father's UVA team, 3-point attempt rate, usually around 250th with Tony Bennett. Now 35th in the country. They get them up, and they get them up in a hurry.
Shoot nearly 29 a game. Williams into the paint. Lubin fouled again. 76-61 Virginia in Raleigh, 90-61 Virginia in Charlottesville. Neither of these regular season games were really close. That 15-point score in Raleigh, you had that game, Jake, flattered the Wolfpack a bit. Virginia led by as much as 27 in that game.
And NC State made a run late to try to, make that even in Raleigh, but it just felt as if you were watching a team that knew who they were, understood their identity in UVA, and that ball moved around. It was so crisp. And when their offense is humming, they're one of the best in the conference and one of the best in the nation.
Hall in the corner in trouble. McNeil played free safety, but Thomas ends up with the ball.
And staying down, being patient, waiting for the
imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, Jay. NC State with the ball to start. Darian Williams back on the floor after 3 first-half fouls, and This is a foul on Dallin Hall as we check in with Taylor Tannenbaum.
Talked to a pretty optimistic and positive Will Wade coming out. He said, we've played pretty well thus far, just lost a little bit of steam there at the end of the half. He wants them to clean up their finishing and the loose balls. Virginia had 6 points off loose balls in the first half. As for that guy, Quadir Copeland, he says he has to make better decisions. Gotta quit the internal passes, kick it out.
No question, Taylor. Quadir Copeland, 3 turnovers in the first half. That's a good decision. He just picked up Grunloh's. Grunloh is back in there for Virginia with 3 fouls. Grunloh with Hall and Mallory, White and Tillis. Grunloh knocked away by Copeland, but he recovers and he scores his first 2 points. Now, he should certainly be fresh for the stretch run, having only played 4 minutes.
You need him in the game down the stretch as well. Ayenso blocks out the sun, but Grunloh also 3rd in the ACC in blocks.
Copeland trying to get a seal from Lubin. Grunloh is in there to help make that a difficult shot. And he catches on the run and then finishes.
This is what you love about the bigs for UVA. Not only do they block shots at the rim at a high rate, they sprint down the floor and they become recipients who are available to catch the ball in transition and finish at the rim.
Williams to Abel. Abel's out of bounds. 20 years old, who played in the top German league, the basketball Bundesliga for 2 years. He was teammates with the former Virginia player Jaden Gardner there. Whipped inside to Mallory. Out for Tillis. Tillis on the bounce. Hall on the reverse. Largest lead for Virginia.
You said this game would come down to the cumulative effect for UVA. They're a team, they beat you by 1,000 cuts. If you can't remain disciplined through concentration defensively, they dice you apart.
Williams for McNeil. McNeil contested 2. No. Rebound to Hall. NC State is smack dab in the middle of the danger zone. To Ritter. Hall. Yes! Will Wade was trying to get to the 12. But Jay Lucas, what a special guy, confident guy, someone you know very well, Jay. Looking forward to seeing him and telling his story in our next game.
Not only do I think he's one of the most talented coaches we have here in the ACC, as McNeil knocks down a really big 3 to close in this 10-point gap. But I think you're looking at a guy that is one of the top coaches in the country. Not only what he does basketball IQ-wise and X's and O's, but his ability to recruit. And there's a lot of rumblings around Miami that if Eric Spoelstra goes up top to a president or a GM role, that a guy like Jay Lucas could be the next head coach of the Miami Heat.
Think he can get Bam Adebayo to 84?
I don't want to talk. Congrats to Bam. You know, there's been enough negative talk about him reaching 84. Not you, just other people.
Sure. 10-point lead for UVA here. Meanwhile, they've scored on 11 of 13 possessions in the second half. Holloman to Lubin, and there's a foul.
Like Caden Boozer, who hasn't played 25 to 30 minutes a night, and now John Shire needs him to do so with the injury to Caleb Foster. So, look, I believe Caden Boozer is up for the task. But now more than ever, this ACC tournament seems wide open for the likes of teams like UVA and Miami, NC State. FSU is not going to be an easy game tonight.
Duke, Florida State, 7 o'clock tonight, ESPN. There's NC State down by 8. Midway point of the second half. Copeland leaning in. Grunloh has the rebound.
I just feel like the rhythm and pace of this game has shifted towards how UVA wants to play.
Hall smothered by Lubin. That's a tie-up. And the arrow stays with Virginia.
Now, earlier in the first half, I thought Virginia style, they were knocking down threes, but they were playing a little bit more ISO matchup basketball. And that's not how their offensive rhythm usually translates. You see multiple people getting multiple touches, constant action, constant communication. And it's a lot about their fluidity in which they play. And you're seeing more of their UVA offense in the second half.
Lewis lets it fly and drills his 4-3. Sam Lewis this season, 11 for 17 from 3 in the NC State games. NC State facing its largest deficit. Into Lubin against Grunloh. It's been a tough matchup all night long.